Hey folks, welcome back to Markelly Farm. Yep, Kelly's gone. Stick around, we'll fill you in. Well, it's been a rough week here on the homestead. I've been struggling pretty good. It all started last weekend. Went to a high school sporting event, and I think I picked up a sickness there. So we've been trying to stay on top of that. Kelly's gone. She went to state wrestling this weekend. She really enjoys that, so I volunteered. Well, it's only natural that I would volunteer with this sickness, but usually I volunteer so she can go watch and I take care of the homestead while she's gone. So she really enjoys wrestling, and she's going to have a good time this weekend. But since she's not here and I'm not feeling that well, I wanted to do some make-ahead meals. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's get after it. Okay, folks, we're going to get started on our breakfast casserole here. We've got our 9x13 dish. We've got our oven preheating at 350 degrees. We're going to put a little of our cooking spray in here in the pan to help things not stick to our pan. Let's get our biscuits open here. We're using the Grand's biscuits, the Southern Homestyle biscuits. I don't like using the flaky layer biscuits for this, although if that's your preference you can. But I don't really like all the little layers when I put this together. So we're going to take these biscuits and we're going to press them down into the bottom of the pan. And there's 8 biscuits to a pan. So there'll be like 4 on each side. Throw them all in the pan, then you could make them go where you want them to go. Now if you make your own biscuits, you can just put your biscuit dough in the bottom of the pan. Same thing. I've even made little pizzas out of these biscuits. Roll them out real thin, make pizzas with them. You can do a lot with them. You don't have to use the crescent dough for everything, although crescent dough would be good. So once we get our biscuits out in the pan, then we're going to go in with our hash browns right on top of those. And we'll put them side by side in here like this. We need to squeeze them in real good. See if we can get all 10 of these hash browns in. If you can't get them all in, just break them in half and put your half on the end here. We'll fry that other one up for later. Okay, then once I get here, I want to season a little bit. I season almost all my layers. I'm going to put a little garlic salt on this layer because I like a little bit of garlic. Not much in my breakfast stuff, but just a little bit. And then we're going to go with some pepper. Regular old black pepper. And then now we're going to go in some pre-cooked bacon. We cooked a pound of bacon and we chopped it up. We're going to layer that in over the top. Your mouth should be watering already with just these ingredients. But we're not done, folks. So make your bacon even in here. Spread it out as much as you can. And then we have a ½ pound of breakfast sausage. Yes, we're using both. If Kelly was here, we would just use the bacon. She's not a big fan of breakfast sausage. About the only pork she eats is pulled pork. And that's going to be incorporated into one of the other dishes we're going to do today. This comes together really fast. It's really good. And you can either serve an army or you can eat all week on it. Alright. That's our meat is spread out pretty well. So now we have 10 eggs that we've beaten, our farm fresh eggs here. Give them a quick stir. I've salt and peppered the eggs already. So that's salted and peppered too. It's seasoned. Try to season all the layers. And we'll pour these 10 eggs in here over the top. Now the eggs will kind of puff up when they're cooked. Kind of fill all this up. So there's all of our eggs. So let me clean my hands real quick and then we'll get the cheese on here. Alright, let's go on with the cheese. I'm just using a cheddar jack cheese. It's a mix between Monterey Jack and cheddar. And then I don't like going really crazy on the cheese. I just like to give it a good layer of cheesiness. I don't want a big gloopy cheesy mess on top. Sounds like our oven is up to temperature. Fill in a couple of these light spots with our cheese. There we go. That's plenty of cheese. You can use more if you like. Now on top of this, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of thyme. It's an herb. If you haven't used it before, you should really try it. Thyme gives a real earthy flavor to any dish that you're making. One of my favorite herbs. And then we're also going to add some crushed red pepper. Again, if Kelly was home, I would leave this out. But I like to spice things up a bit. About like that. Now this is going into a 350-degree oven, and I'll let you know how long it takes. Alright, there's our casserole out of the oven. Took right at 40 minutes. You can see the beautiful layers in there. It's breakfast time real quick, and then we'll come back and do our next thing we're going to do. Second piece. Really good. Alright folks, that was a fantastic breakfast. We've got these all packaged up. Once these cool off, we'll get them put in the fridge, and there's breakfast for 3 more days. Now we can get on the next project. Next thing we got is one of our pork roasts from the pig that we processed this fall. We're going to get this thing seasoned up. We'll get it in our Dutch oven and get it browning. We're going to get the fire turned on underneath our pan. Put it on about medium, get it hot, and then we'll put some olive oil in it. Okay, our Dutch oven is warm. We put some oil in it. In the meantime, we'll season our roast. Using our favorite seasoning again, Pappy's seasoning. We're going to put it all over this roast. It's going to take quite a bit. You basically want to use everything that'll stick. And we're doing it in our pan we cook breakfast in because it's already dirty. So we'll get this seasoned up and get her in this pan. Okay, we've got it all seasoned up. We have it here in our Dutch oven, cast iron Dutch oven. We're going to brown this on all the sides that we can brown it on, get a nice bunch of color on it, because that's going to give it a lot more flavor. And then we'll put a lid on this. We've got our oven turned down to 300 degrees. Now your Dutch oven that you use, the best ones have these dimples on the lids like this. So what that does is it bastes your roast as it cooks. The moisture on the inside of the Dutch oven will turn into steam, and then it recondenses on the lid, and then it rolls down and gets on those little dimples and falls down onto your roast off of those little dimples. So your roast will get little droplets off of all those dimples in the lid, and that's what they're for. So it's best to use one with the dimples. Otherwise, the moisture just runs back down the side into the pan and doesn't baste the top of the roast. So we'll bring it back when this is all brown. Now the roast we use for this is a ham roast. Usually I would use like a Boston butt or something like that, bone-in Boston butt roast. But any pork roast will do, it's just fine. You can see we have some beautiful browning on our roast. So let's get the lid on this thing. We got a nice snug fitting lid. There's no air gaps around it. So we're going to get this thing into the oven now. There we go. Now any oven safe pot will work for this as long as there's a nice tight fitting lid. Now we're going to let that cook for 3 hours at 300 degrees in that Dutch oven in the oven. And at that time we should be able to pull it out. The bone in the roast should pull right out of it. And we should be able to pull that roast really easy, which means break the meat up. And we'll have really good pulled pork in not a lot of time. Okay, my friends, 3 hours has elapsed. Let's get this meat out of the oven. Here we go. Let's take a look. Looks like it's cooked all the way through. Let's see if our bone pulls out. Look at our meat, just falls apart in here. So we'll pull all this apart. Get it mixed into this beautiful juice down here in the bottom. And then it's ready to go. Smells so good. Alright, there's our pulled pork. Let's give it a taste. Seasoned perfectly. Really juicy. Can't wait to use this stuff. Well, we got our ready-made food done. That pulled pork's going to be nice. We can use that for several days coming up. We can make tacos, burritos, sliders, whatever we want to make out of that stuff. So that's going to be nice. And then we have breakfast for a few days. That ought to hold me over until Kelly gets back. I won't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. She's only been gone a day, but we miss her already. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here at Markelly Farm. Maybe I'll be feeling better by then. Love you guys.